Welcome. Welcome to the celebrated nightly news of Calaveras County. And you may have noticed something missing tonight. It's Sarah. And I want to apologize a little bit. On our first, normally we tape at 5:30 and for a rebroadcast at 10 p.m. And we actually blew a radiator hose coming back up the hill this afternoon in the heat. And it actually messed up our taping time. In the future, we should have it so Sarah can run solo if need be, but there wasn't really time to go through some of the technical stuff of getting up in the feed because, as you notice on some of these newscasts, you'll see me looking left and stuff like that because we're also running the feed and pushing to cable as well during the broadcast. And I want to apologize for that, but instead of running so you got a repeat at 5:30, but tonight we'll try to give you a newscast. We probably, there will be something missing there that you won't see. So, but we'll try to struggle through because I think there's some newsworthy stuff to go over tonight. And I want to thank you for joining us again. The top of the news tonight is probably the biggest thing is Daniel Rocha was found guilty on all counts. And he was also, and as you recall, Daniel Rocha was responsible in the March 2005 shooting death of David Jessup of 19 of McCollum Hill. And this is a case that's really touched a lot of people, especially over in the Valley Springs, Moke Hill area. We actually spoke with a young man today that played football with David Jessup, was very close friends. And I think hopefully they can find some closure in this going forward. And he was found guilty on all counts. Now, first-degree murder, as well as the gang and affiliated weapons charges that went with it. And our belief is this will elevate the length of his sentence as well. And I guess that starts off the top of the news. And just to start off is that Daniel Rocha was found guilty on all counts, including the gang and weapons charges. Also, while we're on the crime on the crime stuff, shall we say, is also on the murder that occurred over in Tuolumne County in Murderers Gulch that we were talking about. Some of the preliminary autopsy reports is that the victim was shot. So, and that was the Wallace man that perished in that. And it looks like, and normally we don't have stuff like that up here. This is not a normal occurrence in our neck of the woods, but there it is. So, and going forward, and it was, I guess going back to a little more of our normal subject matter we like to talk about, is the Calaveras County election results are in. Now, this is a special district election that didn't even affect all of the county, but we'll go ahead and read off some of the election results for you because we know in certain parts of the county there was some definite interest in some delineations between candidates and things like that. So, these are the election results from yesterday's special election. And these are preliminary. Some of these, these aren't the official confirmed election results yet, but I doubt they'll end up changing much. So, and here we go. For director, for Division 1, CCWD Water District, we have Phil McCartney. Took it overall with 59% of the vote over Charles Hebert, and he had 667 votes, or 40.2%. And again, that was the CCWD Division 1. It was Phil McCartney took that race with 59.13% of the vote. And for director of the Altaville Maloney's Fire District, Michael Fullaway took that one with 67.97% of the vote over Ann Radford, and she pulled about 30.86% of the vote. Major D for Altaville Maloney's Fire District, yes, was 86%, took that with, and 13% no. For the director, full-term Foothill Fire Protection District, vote for 3. So, it looks like these are the breakdowns. The overall top one was Ed Anderson. Ed Anderson with 18.57% of the vote, followed up by Jeffrey Palm with 469 votes, or 17.42%. And then it was Ken Glissman, followed up with 16.94%. So for the top three were again Ed Anderson with 18.57%, Jeffrey Palm with 17.42%, and Ken Glissman with 16.94%. Okay, that was the full term election. Now for the short term, we have for the director of the Foothill Fire Protection District, it was Ronnie Spradlin with 54.32% of the vote over Steve Gleason with 45.48% of the vote. Measure E, Foothill Fire Protection District. That was also successful with a 88.41% yes vote and a no of 11.59%. So the yes votes carried on Measure E for the Foothill Fire Protection District. For director of the full-term Valley Springs Public Utility District, vote for 2. So the top 2 vote getters, so the top 2 candidates in this category were victorious, with number 1 with 55, let's see, with 55 votes, and it was 44.72% of the overall vote, was Andy Whitaker. William Andy Whitaker, 44.72% of the vote, and Lucille Alley with 35.77% of the vote. So, there we go. Also, for short term Valley Springs Public Utilities District, we have the top 2 in this one carried as well. Robert Robertson with 49% of the, actually 38.58% of the vote, and Connie Gleason with 33.07%. And here we go, Director for District 5, CCWD. The top one was Jeff Davidson, and he had 56.93% of the vote over Carol Barzee, and she had 42.49%. Now, if you were pulling for the write-in candidate got 0.58%. So, anyway, that is the results for the CCW, or for the actual special elections for the results from yesterday. So, there you go. And it was a low voter turnout because it wasn't a full county-wide election, but for those districts, you definitely needed to get those done. Okay, on to the next little kind of upcoming political stuff. If you're trying to mark your calendars, Senator Dave Cox will be speaking at the Chamber of Commerce Quarterly Business Luncheon coming up on September 20th at Camps. So mark your calendars if you want to see the state senator when he's in our area. That will be on September 20th at Camps Restaurant, 12 p.m. lunch. And, excuse me, I need a little something in my throat here. Okay, and for information, you want to call 736-2850, 736-2850. And tonight, we had the pleasure of attending the Arnold Rural Livable Community-Based Mobility Plan Workshop. Now, there is a mouthful. But this was actually very exciting because what they are looking at is from a thing that was funded by a Caltrans grant, they are able to study and go forward with looking at the plan for downtown Arnold. And this one is where they can look at, and it's not just for bike paths, but this is an all-encompassing plan to where it's really some very, very nice things to where in some ways this is almost a redevelopment project for downtown Arnold. It will allow for all kinds of things. Yes, they want to find other access things for walking and bicycle paths to be able to tie the community together. But it's also much more than that, because they're looking at extending for, I guess, for an identifiable project. If you look at what Barry Ward has done with his building, it has been a wonderful thing of taking those buildings and actually doing a wonderful job updating all the facades, improvements. So not only does it make the buildings a lot more functional, aesthetically it is really a very nice thing. This is a very well organized thing by the I believe it was the Stanton Group that's doing the planning, and it's lots of different elements. If you're looking at enhancing aesthetically what the roadways can do, and they had a let's let me get my notes from the meeting here, and it was some very interesting things to where they looked at some towns that were similar in elevation and snow level, and also that maybe they were gateway communities. For example, similar to Arnold's proximity to Big Tree State Park, and also further on up the hill for Bear Valley. Comparing downtowns of, for example, Lake Oswego, Oregon, Quaint and Sisters, Oregon, Hood River, Oregon, Cedar Center, Utah, Truckee, California. Truckee is a little bit higher, but also some things that they have done to enhance the downtown area without obstructing throughput for traffic flow. And they had some examples to where, you know, Arnold is on Highway 4. And one of the components of that is you don't want to impair through traffic on Highway 4. But there was looking at making a focal point for downtown for more of a business district. And a lot of this is outgrowth of the Arnold Community Plan that was completed about 10 years ago. The plan was completed, but there hasn't really been a implementation process. Now this is looking at actually looking at the process of starting to do some implementation of it. And there's some different things if you're looking, and no doubt that, you know, everybody's been following the county's general plan update process, how we want to proceed with growth in various areas of the county. And Arnold is a little different in the fact that we have a plan that was developed, but it also has to incorporate elements that are here already, unlike Copperopolis a lot, where they can, for example, with Castle and Cook and a lot of their developments, they can start from scratch. With Arnold, it's incorporating the assets that are there, tying them together, and some really good positive things came out of this meeting. And if there is a sense of timing or something like that, I think this is something that can actually really get done. And sorry, I've got a little something in my throat. So going forward, I think there's also going to be, and we'll let you know on our site when the next meeting is, but this is something if you live along the corridor, or if you just care about the business environment along the corridor, something that is billed as just a mobility plan or a livable community, this is actually going to be a much bigger project, or this project can have much larger ramifications than I had anticipated. And this is a couple of the goals. They want to respect the character of Arnold, enhance the safety, accessibility, and aesthetics of Arnold, balancing all forms of transportation, automobiles, bikes, pedestrians, transit. And it really is some very nice things to where if you're looking at pockets of parking, where you get parking lots way aesthetically, traffic patterns, crosswalks, and if you're familiar with downtown Arnold, there is really no there. There's the Cedar Center where they've done some very nice things, then there's the Big Trees Market area, but unless you actually go on Highway 4, it makes it difficult to move among those areas. And I think with some of the aesthetics things that they are looking at would go a really nice long way towards making Arnold cohesive, a cohesive community. And some of these things that they looked at, these different towns, and some of the things can be very simple. As simple as a delineation from when the start of Arnold is coming up, with maybe some pavement treatments to where you actually cross a barrier of, instead of just a regular asphalt, if it's stamped, or some different things like that, that add some texture and elements to where you're crossing, like, okay, now we're here. And also, I think there's and we also heard of some potential developers and things now that are looking at some parcels in downtown. For example, if you've driven through Arnold, you'll notice there is a vacant lot that is between Cedar Center and the Barry Ward building. That is being actively looked at right now to create a very nice structure there. So there's some, if you're looking at, there's development up in Bear Valley, down in Copper. Murphy's has done a wonderful job with their downtown. You really sense that there's a concerted effort now on behalf of a lot of people in the community to really do something with downtown Arnold. And it can be as simple as a beautification process with a few walkways and paths, or a complex, comprehensive project. And it's really nice to see it put forward, because I think it'll really have some legs to really do some things, some really fun things. Also, was it hot enough for you today? Well, it was hot enough for us because we actually blew a radiator hose, as we'd mentioned earlier, so the heat definitely affected us. But we also got a release from PG&E today. PG&E is asking customers to conserve energy this week as temperatures heats up across California, and we'll just read the first paragraph. But basically, the Cal ISO declares flex alert days for Wednesday and Thursday. Triple-digit temperatures are forecast for many parts of California this week, and PG&E is asking customers to voluntarily conserve to assist California's electric grid manager to maintain adequate supply reserves in the state. They don't anticipate any brownouts or shortages, but they do expect the highest electricity demand of the summer. Flex alert days today and tomorrow, urging Californians to flex your power now, especially during the peak times of 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And these are some of the tips that they always say on these, but they bear repeating. Set the air conditioning thermostats at 78 degrees or higher. Cool with fans. Draw the drapes. Turn off unnecessary lights and appliances. Use big appliances early in the day or late at night. And PG&E will also voluntarily curtail usage in their own facilities. So isn't that nice of them? But anyway, also, back on a couple little things is the October 18th marks Community Pizza Kickoff Day for Relay for Life meeting. And a lot of you think that Relay for Life is just for their one big 24-hour relay event of the year, and that's part of it. But also they do a lot of activities throughout the year. And I apologize, a little bit of a frog here again. Okay, you're ready for Relay for Life meetings to be held at the Angels Camp Firehouse on Highway 4. Meetings will be held at the third Thursday of each month. Committee chairs will meet at 6 p.m. and anyone else interested in helping at Relay for Team Captains will be meeting at 7 p.m. The October 18th meeting will be the Community Pizza Kickoff meeting. They are setting a goal of 50 teams and $200,000 for the goal for this next year. And their fundraiser will be the first fundraiser will be the Valley Springs Bunko Tournament on October 20th, the Veterans Memorial Building in Valley Springs. Paint the Town Purple box, and a box at the post offices at Angels Camp in March and April for him of all relay. There we go. So anyway, and also one of the big things for next year's Relay for Life is it's going to be a telethon, and the Pinetree.net and Golden State Cellular will be behind this, and I guess that's kind of us on the Pinetree.net. And also, plans are to push it 24 hours live on cable channel 7 as well. So this will be a real telethon to where we'll push it out live for the full 24 hours. You'll be able to watch it live online or also on cable. And Golden State Cellular will be providing phones that you can call in and make your pledges. So it should be a fun event. So mark your calendars for next year, and let's make it a good one. And also back on the news is a couple releases we've gotten today. Is the Prevent Child Abuse Calaveras Council has recently revised and updated their Teen Help Card. The Prevent Child Abuse Calaveras Council recently revised their Teen Help Card. These cards are free and available for distribution. The Teen Help Card is a great resource for teens, educators, and providers. This bookmark-sized card features 50 phone numbers of state and local service organizations which provide information on education, teen crisis lines, teen counseling, drug and alcohol problems, health and safety issues. So if you have a teenager or you are one, give them a call at 754-6110, and this is the Prevent Child Abuse Calaveras Council's Teen Help Card, and this has about 50 phone numbers for teens and also probably other people as well. Again, I apologize for having to drink that. We had a little bit of a frog in the throat. And on a little bit of a sports note, the Ebbets Pass corridor, Highway 4 corridor fishing report is out. And this is from Bill Johnson at Ebbets Pass Sporting Goods. Labor Day weekend is the upcoming week. Make sure to call ahead for camping or lodging information. Reserve your favorite place. But this is kind of the rundown on fishing. Lake Alpine has been good fishing early morning and the last hour of the evening. Trollers should try using apex, needlefish, and glitter bugs behind a small dodger tipped with a night crawler or flasher night crawler combo. Bait casters should try floating power eggs or gulp power bait. And here we go. The ramp at Spicer Lake is now out of the water with only the tip of the dock still in. You will need a four-wheel drive to launch. If you do launch at Spicer or the rocks that are just under the surface around the lake, trollers should try using some of the things we mentioned before: apex, needlefish, wedding rings, and glitter bugs. The North Fork of the Stanislaus has been slow to the heat and the full moon. But bait fishermen should try split-shotting inflated night crawlers, salmon eggs, crickets, floating power eggs, gulp night crawlers. Lure casters should try panther martin spinners and repellers. And then also for fly fishermen as well. White Pines Lake near Arnold has been producing fish early morning and late evening. Try using floating power eggs on 30 to 36-inch leaders and cast a bubble. Mosquito Lake has been doing some fat rainbows. This last week, a customer brought in a 5-pound, 4-ounce beauty caught with floating power egg, salmon egg combo. So basically, Mosquito Lake, and this is if you haven't been up to Mosquito Lake, and this is for some of you non-fishermen as well, it's really, really pretty. It is just a gorgeous place. And if you just go up there, spend a few minutes up there, and wander on up. You'll be glad you did. On to a little bit of national news, a little bit of interesting stuff. And if you're looking at this and also I guess if you're going back to the Atlanta Olympics, Richard Jewell is dead. Richard Jewell has passed away. And we're waiting for that a little bit to come up. And Richard Jewell, the former security guard, once suspected in the Centennial Olympic Park bombing, then cleared, died at his home Wednesday morning. For the past 3 years, Jewell has worked as a deputy sheriff for the Meriwether County Sheriff's Department and been out on medical leave. So he was only 44 years old. Wow, 44 years old. And downhill, I guess he had diabetes and going down there, but they said he was a great officer. But what he went through in his in his time frame of after the Olympics. That was a media witch hunt, if there ever was one. GOP senators are asking Craig to step down or resign. They've also, for some of the things we've heard today, they've also asked Senator Craig to step off some of the committees that he was on. And so it looks like they're asking him to just urge him to resign and pull himself from the Senate. And if you recall, Senator Craig was the man that was caught up in somewhat some people are calling Brokeback bathroom, and this was the alleged sex scandal that happened in the Minneapolis airport. And he actually pled guilty to a charge of some type of the lewd conduct or whatever. But and also the senators are calling on him to resign. And also, this is kind of thing on back on the Virginia Tech massacre. Virginia Tech has been criticized, saying that they could have saved quite a few more lives than they did if they would have had some different actions. And let's hope that on this one, that in some ways that some other colleges or large educational facilities can learn some things from this. This is from the Washington Post. Virginia Tech criticized in massacre probe. The panel appointed by the governor to investigate the massacre at Virginia Tech is critical of the university's response to the shootings and its treatment of Sung-Hui Cho. Concluded that some lives could have been saved if officials had issued an alert sooner that a gunman was on campus. The 8-member panel also found that Cho went to campus counseling center after he was ordered to do so by the judge, but that the center failed to treat Cho. The panel's report, which was posted online last night, also says the center was passive in its follow-up and it's missing important records about Cho's visit. So, again, that came out that it was very critical of Virginia Tech, saying that they could have done more to enhance that. So we'll go a quick thing on weather here. Weather for tomorrow, hot, hot, hot. Here we go. Start off with Arnold. High of 91 tomorrow, 91 on Friday, and 89 on Saturday. So it's like maybe a couple degrees down. And Bear Valley weather. We have a high of 82 tomorrow with a 20% chance of thunderstorms. High of 81 on Friday and 81 on Saturday. And Murphy's, we have hot, hot, hot. 98 tomorrow, 99 on Friday, and 97 on Saturday. For Angels Camp, 99 tomorrow, 99 on Friday, and 97 on Saturday. So warm, warm, and warm. And tomorrow night, Sarah will be back, and tomorrow night will be our weekend update edition, to where we do a rundown of all the upcoming events for this Labor Day weekend holiday. And I apologize that you had to just bear with me this evening instead of the both of us, because I know it's a lot more fun and when both of us are here. But there was some newsworthy things we thought we would get a broadcast in anyway. A couple little fire notes is there was a fire in Mountain Ranch today where a structure was lost, and there was only about a 20-foot spread into surrounding areas, and that started at a little after noon, around noontime today, and that's it. We really appreciate you stopping by. We really do, and thank you for that. And we will have more information posted on thepinetree.net as well. And thanks for stopping by the celebrated nightly news of Calaveras County. And we'll be back with a fun show tomorrow night on everything for Labor Day weekend. Thank you very much, and have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.